Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate in early morning Final Fantasy podcasts. I am your host, Kaleb.
I am Joseph DeGaulier.
And today we are going to be reviewing our votes, our polls, all the shit that we set up for the 2017 UFF Podcast Awards, and some of the shit we didn't set up that we're just going to do ourselves.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm so ready to get into this.
One other thing I think we're going to go over today, we're going to look back on 2017 and then look to the future for 2018. Because Joe said a little while ago, have you said that on the show, that you want to do 17 Final Fantasy games this year?
I said it on Nude Clan. That is my goal for this year. All we have are single-player games this year. And a lot of the games are going to be shorter games, with the exception of these first two, which are two tactic games that I know are supposed to be pretty long. So with the exception of those, I'm going to try to beat a game every 3 weeks. So that is the goal for this year, is to bring Ultima Final Fantasy back to its prime.
Yeah, well,
I think sometimes we get a little bogged down with the online games. Those take up huge chunks, but we don't have that this year. And also, I am newly barely employed, so I'll be able to, at least myself, and I'm usually the one who pushes these games forward because I don't get them done on time. I should get these games done on time. Just fine.
I hope we can do that. That's a lot of games, but I think we can manage it. Yeah. So I guess you haven't started Tactics Advance at all, have you?
No, because I want to stream it all. So I was waiting on you to finish it, because I guess we only have one Game Boy player. So
that is true.
You're going to use it for 1 week and then give it to me, and I'm going to use it for 2 weeks and gonna be plowing. Luckily, I don't have any games for Nude Clan. I'm gonna be plowing through Final Fantasy Tactics Advance here soon.
Well, I think I'm about 6.5 hours in already.
How is it?
I think it's fine. I think it's a fun game. Strangely, the speed is faster in this game on the fucking Game Boy Advance than it was on the PS1 version of the game. I don't have as much of them. The character's just like standing there trying to figure out what move is the best to make.
Oh, that's good.
At that moment. I mean, I had one moment where it happened a little bit, but it's not like every single fucking time like it was on Tactics on PS1, where they just have like a brain fart, which is amazing because it's on this little piece of shit. So you'd think it'd be worse, but it isn't somehow.
So are you using the Game Boy player or not?
I haven't had the converter, so no. I haven't streamed it. I've just been using the Game Boy Advance SP.
How does that work?
What do you mean?
How does it hook into the GameCube?
You just like attach it. It's got like a little slot thing.
Okay. Is that going to be on the Advance?
What?
As opposed to the SP?
Well, no, it doesn't. You don't use the Game Boy at all. You just use the Game Boy player. It attaches to the GameCube. And you plug the game into the GameCube.
So the thing I'm concerned about is the memory. Is the memory stored on the cartridge?
It's stored on the cartridge. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, all the cartridge.
Oh, my God. Schweiss, I was so concerned. I should have started playing this then. I didn't know that. I was so concerned for you. I was like, I guess he's not playing it on the thing. But for some reason, I didn't realize that the memory was stored on the cartridge. Okay, all right.
All cartridge games, everything's stored on the cartridge. I mean, you can have extra memory slots for like Donkey Kong on the N64 and shit like that, but it still has the cartridge saves.
Okay. Well, then I am no longer worried whatsoever about getting this game done. That's honestly what I was afraid of. And okay, I'm not going to play it on the Advance because I'm going to wait for the Game Boy player to play it on the GameCube. That's why I was waiting.
You know, honestly, I might just let you take it first, because I'm going to be doing a lot of off-camera play, because I'm going to play it during lunch, because that's why I've got so many hours in it already, because I just play it randomly. So I think I'm going to let you take it, even though you finally brought me the cord, so I could stream. Because you are going to be slamming the game, and I'm going to be playing it pretty regularly. But I don't think I'm going to stream all of it, just because I'm going to be playing it at work and like playing it when I have a few minutes here and there. I'm not going to start the stream for that. So I think you should take it until you beat it, and then I should stream whatever I have left.
Okay, well,
because you're off now, right? Basically,
officially, yes. I don't have to go back into work till February 6th for a day. Then yeah.
Oh, so you literally meant one more day?
No, this is how it works. I decided to quit my job. Some people know this on my blog to pursue film and podcasting stuff. So I'm going to be putting in about half my day into writing and trying to get jobs on set, and half my day into doing podcasting things. That includes streaming the games. Most of that's going to be Nude Clan focused, but I am going to be streaming the Ultima Final Fantasy games, trying to do that on a regular schedule. Of course, because I don't have a game to play for Nude Clan for the next 2 weeks, I will be playing Final Fantasy Tactics Advance in the afternoons from Monday through Friday, and maybe even Saturday. I'm not sure yet.
All right.
So you guys can check me out on twitch.tv. I guess just me, because I guess I'm going to be taking the player. Twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. And I believe the time I wrote down was going to be 3 to 6. I think that was the time I had in my head. Anyway.
You're going to have to play it more than that if you're going to beat it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well.
It's 50 hours. That's only 30.
Is it okay, that's what I was going to go into, was how many hours is this game supposed to be?
How Long to Beat has it at 49 and a half, and there are like 100 or like 200 entries, so it's pretty good.
49 and a half.
Yeah. There are 300 fights from what I've
Okay,
seen.
hold on. Let's go.
I don't know how many optional ones are included in there.
My phone is dead. Let's go to howlongtobeat.com. I'm sorry to make you do this. I have to see this. And the problem is I also have the memory of a goldfish. So even if we have looked at this before, I do not remember. And I just want you to not have remembered that right.
At 49 and a half. The rushed playthrough was 31 hours and 20 minutes. But the average is 50. Or, well, I guess 48, 42.
All right.
And that's just main story is... it's averaged at 48 and a half.
Okay, 50 hours divided by 2 weeks.
Well, if you're doing five a day, that's 5 hours a day. Or if you're doing 5 days a week, because that's 25 hours the first week. And then 25
okay, what about at 6 days a week?
I'm
just going to let you handle this.
Well, that's 12. That'd be 4 hours a day. So
4 hours a day.
48 hours.
Okay.
So maybe
that
a little longer.
I can do. It's 4 hours a day.
a
If we
lot
want to
of
do it in
streaming.
2 weeks.
I think we can try.
I was going to assume 3 weeks because I thought you were going to have it for a week longer. So,
well, we can see where I am in 2 weeks, and if I need to play it a little longer, I can.
Okay.
It's just weird. It's going to be the one game so far that I haven't streamed at all, if I do that. But I guess it doesn't matter if you're streaming 50 hours of the fucker.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You guys are going to see me at 3 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Utah time, if you want to look that up. And that's when I should be getting on. And I will play that 4 hours a day and maybe 5 if I feel up to it.
Yeah,
there you go.
There's going to have to be a couple that you'll have to give a few more hours
There
to.
you go. And I'm going to do that for at least the next 2 weeks. Unless I beat it early. So.
Well, I am 6 hours in, and I haven't lost a fight yet, so.
Awesome. That is such good news. Oh.
And I lost a fight almost immediately in regular tactics.
Oh,
like second
I lost
battle.
about 20 fights immediately in tactics. So I restarted the game. Well, I didn't restart. I guess I got to a certain point and then restarted over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feeling okay? You look like you're dying.
Oh, I'm just kind of sick, so.
You're kind of sick.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sort of getting over it, though. I don't know. So I just feel kind of shitty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let's Well, what are we doing next to make it feel less shitty?
I think we are gonna do a couple questions. I believe that's what we have first, right? Questions.
Questions first? Okay.
Questions for us. We would like to hear from you. To our forums. Contact us on Twitter. Get on and ask your questions. We'll answer them quickly. This is the question segment. Asking you will receive.
All right, the first one we have up here, and the reason why I didn't do news is because I didn't want to, because we did a shitload of news last week.
Okay, well, we'll do a shitload of news next week to make up for this week.
Because I think now that it's the 31st anniversary of Final Fantasy, suddenly they care about making it.
Well, that and there's
event.
a apparently huge game called Dissidia NT coming out.
Yeah, it is an open beta right now. So if you guys want to download that beta, I know we have some people in the Ultima community who are already playing it, and it's they said it's pretty good.
Is this going to be another remake sequel like Dissidia Dewey Decim was?
No, it's a different one. It's its own thing.
Damn it.
So we're gonna have to play.
So we actually had to play it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's a fighting game though, so it'll take no time.
I looked last week to see how many games we had left that were actually called Final Fantasy, and I only counted 18 on our list, but Dissidia makes it 19. So actually, if we beat 17 Final Fantasy games this year, we'll only have 2 that are actually called Final Fantasy left. And then from then on, it's Mana series, Kingdom Hearts, and then the games that weren't Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's actually it's not looking that drastic anymore. Like, it's not hurting me looking in the future as much. But
yeah. Well, I mean, we only did beat 9 of them last year though, so. Just think of all the Final Fantasy we played, and I'm counting Dragon Song War.
Yeah. Oh, you're counting those?
Stormblood, Heaven's Word.
Because if you don't count those, it's real sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that was like 80 hours.
Caleb owns me a coffee.
Yeah. Rasslin Mustaine said he spit out his coffee through his nose, laughing his ass off at work while listening to the show. Bravo on the Dave Mustaine voice. Haven't laughed that hard in a while. See, this one was a while ago, so it could have been Joe.
It definitely was.
We both do Dave Mustaine voices.
It definitely was Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Dave came onto the show while Schweiss was talking and did his impersonation.
Yeah. He said we do need more Megadeth covers. He did like the Tactics one.
Well, we have one more. We're waiting for us to read the Final Fantasy X 2.5 novel before we debut it to anyone outside of Patreon. So I'm sorry for the wait. I know you guys heard about Dave working on that stuff for a long time, but only the Patreon people have heard it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of trying to find a spot to place it, because when we pick out like remixes and shit for the episodes, we try to find ones that match the tone or the game or whatever we were talking about the most, and
thematically similar.
We have a big thing for FF10, so we're probably gonna drop it on the FF10. Yeah,
there's also another song that he needs to cover though, because we did, even though of course Patreon screwed. This is what I think. Patreon had its PR issue last month, and we had a few people drop their pledges, and I was kind of sad. It was either that or our show was doing so badly that people dropped their pledges. I'm not sure. That's fine. You guys do what you want. But we did hit the goal of Dave doing another song, so we're going to do it anyway, whether or not we are officially on that Patreon goal or not.
Isn't it another FF10 song? No, it's 10-2.
It's our favorite FF10-2 song. Our favorite. What can I do for you?
That's going to be. I think that one's going to be a lot easier than the last one, to be honest.
I don't know. I'd have to talk to Dave about that. Yeah, I think converting it to Megadethify the song, it might be easier. because it's a little bit more upbeat and fast,
Yeah.
when the other song was a straight up slow ballad. The last one, Suteki Dane. And so, yeah, in that way it could be. But then again, Dave does not usually sing like super fast. His other stuff is fast, but he doesn't sing like "What Can I Do For You" it's a little fast and poppy for Dave.
I don't know, man. Just listen to Risk and get yourself in the mood.
Crush him.
Yeah, if you want to hear pop, that's where it is. That shitty album.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure Dave can rise to the occasion. Of course, I mean, he's hasn't failed us yet. He's just taken his sweet time a few times. But
Let me ask you this twice: Risk or Saint Anger?
Saint Anger's better.
Saint Anger's better.
Yeah,
I agree. Isn't that sad?
yeah, it is sad. Their
Saint
worst
Anger's
is-
terrible.
Well, I don't even think Risk is their worst one, too. I think Super Collider is worse. 'Cause the only decent song on there is a cover, is almost a cover
both-
remake of another one.
They both have one decent song. That's the problem with both those albums. You got Prince of Darkness on one, and you got Kingmaker on.
Yeah, but the difference is, though, Prince of Darkness is its own song. Kingmaker is just another song that they kind of changed a little bit lyrically. Because it's the same as Sleepwalker, and it almost sounds the same.
It's less complex.
Yeah.
Simpler. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's got the same kind of hook.
It's because the guitarist was... I think it was a different guitarist for those two, wasn't it?
Nope. It was the same guitarist.
Oh. Well, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
Chris Adler, I think. No, hold on. That's the drummer from Lamb of God.
Yeah.
I can't remember. He's not in Megadeth anymore. Kiko is king.
Yeah, so yeah, we I'm sure he'll do just fine.
All right. Well, just so you know, this is the new announcement for the show, by the way. We're now a Megadeth podcast.
Yeah.
We don't talk about anything but Megadeth, and occasionally we'll bring up Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you guys thought we were going in a Metallica direction, but we're not. There's just not enough content there.
No. The Megadeth stuff is too entertaining. We have to talk about Megadeth constantly and compare them to Metallica constantly.
That's right. Yeah, which they do not compare. It's sadly, but still. All right, so we have another one here. It's titled "Spoilers" from Silver Shades. This is more of a comment than a question, but in response to the review and discussion about the spoiler for FF15, I was under the assumption that once the show actually reviewed a game, then anything goes in terms of spoilers moving forward. In fact, I was so sure of this policy that I played and beat FF Tactics before you all reviewed it because I didn't want to get spoiled by listening to future episodes where there would be possible spoilers. Like you guys said in your discussion on the show, half of the point of the show is to compare and contrast the games and to see the series as a whole and how it's grown. You all made a conscious effort not to spoil 15 until the 15 review. I appreciated that, and that made sense to me. It seems to me that after you have officially reviewed 15, then spoilers can be assumed for any future material because you said part of what you do is compare the games. I think this is in reference to somebody got mad at us for spoiling.
Yeah, we
the
got a
game.
1-star review for spoiling Final Fantasy 15 in one of the newer episodes. I do believe we actually answered this question before, but
We might have. I know we talked about it when we read the review.
yeah. So that could be memory just screwing with us. But it's hard. It's hard not to spoil games, and I know 15 is the new one, and maybe we should have put like a 1 year don't talk about 15 outside of the 15 review thing.
Yeah, maybe, but it had been
or
out
at least
for,
do a spoiler alert.
I think it had been out for
going
at
to.
least a year by then, though.
It's been out
It came out in November.
for a year and 3 months now. So I'm fine with talking about whatever it is by now. Honestly, if you haven't beat it by now, there's a small segment of you that maybe cannot afford a PS4. That's fine. But for everybody else, you would have beaten it if you wanted to by now. I mean, really. The game is not that long for Final Fantasy, so I'm okay with spoiling from now on.
Yeah, I mean, like Silver Shade said, the whole point of the show is to kind of like compare and contrast the series. And I mean, how are we supposed to thematically do that if we don't talk about the ending of 15? Like, the ending of 15 seems similar to the ending of other games. So of course we're going to draw lines connecting them. It'll be like, oh, I think they got the idea for it from here. I think they did this from this, and of course it's gonna naturally spoil some of the games for you. But that's the tough part, though. They can randomly jump in on one episode because they finally, for some reason, they really wanted to listen to the awards show. Yeah, or something like that. And then we had a spoiler in there. It's like, it sucks that we ruined the game, and it sucks that we spoiled it for you. But honestly, that's kind of the whole point of our shows. Like, if you run into that, we're sorry we ruined it, but it's kind of too bad. Like, there's not really anything we can fucking do about it. You ruin the surprise. If the game is good, if the story is good regardless, then the surprise won't matter. I can still rewatch Sixth Sense. Sorry, this is the spoiler saying that there's a reason to spoil Sixth Sense. I can still watch Sixth Sense over and over again despite knowing the ending because it's a damn good movie, frankly. And there's a lot of other materials that are like that. I could say I could replay 15 and enjoy the story for the parts that I enjoy, which is most of it. But I'm just trying to think of you, Schweiz, because I know you're kind of wishy-washy on that thing. On what? 15? I think you could play 15 again and not having the reveal of the ending or the surprise of the ending and what happens. I don't think that would make you I don't think that would ruin the experience for you the second time around, Yeah, and it didn't when I played it again before we reviewed the game. When I played it through for the second time, just kind of speed running it so that I got the story down again. And it didn't ruin anything. Yeah. I knew exactly what was going to happen at every turn, but I don't know. Part of me thinks that if you cared enough that there were spoilers, you would have cared enough to have beaten the game by now. And if you didn't care enough for spoilers, you probably don't care that you know things about the game. We could tell you that Titus sort of, kind of fades away and dies at the end of 10. Supposed to, anyway. Of course, he never existed at the end of 10 is really what it is. He's a dream of the faith, whatever the hell that means. So there's a spoiler for you. I'm pretty sure no one is pissed off at me saying that. Yeah, well, 10 did come out considerably longer ago. That is true. And it is considered to be one of the best in the series by most people. So also, Eris gets stabbed by Sephiroth in the middle of FF7. There's another spoiler for you. Yeah. Oh, wait, everybody knows that, and it doesn't ruin the game knowing that when you go in either. So, I don't know. I think you need to calm down. Yeah. That's what I think. Not the person who asked the question. The person who reviewed it. Yeah, and it's just not. I don't know. There's not really much we can do about it. We can't have I guess we could say we're going to spoil it before we spoil it, but I think that's kind of ridiculous, especially now, where we're, it's been out for well over a year, and like you said, if you wanted to play it, you should have. You should have been able to play it by now. Yeah. Somehow. Yeah. Unless you couldn't afford it. Are still listening. Yeah, I guess, but I'm sure you know someone who has the game. It's usually how it works when you have acquaintances and friends and shit. If you care so much about Final Fantasy that I don't know, it doesn't make too much sense to me. Yeah. Anyway. So we got one from Shinru here. He says, "What are you guys playing your Game Boy Advance games on? I don't want to spoil it, but it's the fucking Game Boy Advance." Joe mentioned he got a Game Boy Advance, and since there are 4 Game Boy Advance models, I was wondering which one he got. I don't know. I got the Game Boy Advance, the purple one. Yeah. He said there's the Game Boy Advance with the no backlight and a headphone outlet. No backlight, yes. There's the first SP, which has a clamshell design and the ability to turn the backlight on and off. There's a second SP, which has 2 backlight modes, very bright and normal. What do you got? I think this one's just the first one. Okay. There's no backlight off mode, and it has a better quality LCD screen. Then the Game Boy Advance Micro, which is a tiny Game Boy Advance, and it's the only one that cannot play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games like the other models, but it does have the best quality screen for the pixel graphics, and has become quite the collector's item. Joe just has the Game Boy Advance SP. I think you have the regular one.
I have their Game Boy Advance.
Oh, yeah.
We
the
were
Advance,
looking for an SP, couldn't find one, frankly.
You know what? I turned on the Game Boy Advance because I was going to play the game.
And then you saw...
It looks like shit. The Game Boy Advance is the worst fucking screen I have ever laid eyes on. It is horrible.
It was bad back in the day.
I don't remember how I was able to fucking play anything on this thing. Like, it's not like I was outside. I was inside with like the lights on, and I could still barely fucking see anything. And like I wear glasses and shit, but I'm nearsighted. I could see shit that's close to me, and it's right there. And like the light has to be okay. So you got to have like the orb of light, right, coming from the fucking light source, and it has to be off screen by about an inch and a half. Because if it's on screen, you can't see anything.
You got to have the perfect angle.
Yeah, it's fucking and that's the perfect angle to barely see anything.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit.
Well,
and I'm amazed that it was ever successful.
Luckily, my television has a backlight, so when I use the Game Boy player, everything should be fine.
Yeah, I don't understand how anybody even wanted one of those. Like, it's so bad, dude. It's fucking atrocious. So yeah, Jake let me borrow his Game Boy Advanced SP, and with the backlight, I'm actually able to see and play the game effectively and at all compared to the Game Boy Advance.
Nice. Well,
so I do regret buying, because I actually spent money on the fucking Game Boy Advance, and I regret it every moment of every day now. That ever since I tried it again, because it's just, it's just so bad. I don't know. I can't get over it.
I agree. It's bad. It was bad back in the day, and remember, I had to buy a fucking light. A light built for the Game Boy Advance to shine on the screen in such a way that it lights up the screen. So if you can find one of those, that's your answer. But let me tell you, there is nothing that drains a battery more than that little light thing. And the Game Boy Advance already drains batteries like a mofo. Like, it's insane how fast that thing drains batteries. And this was, of course, before I ever had any rechargeable batteries. Oh, wait, I still don't have rechargeable batteries.
Yeah.
We bought a big block of them for the shows over here because we use little AA in everything we use, but I don't have any batteries at home. So I had some AA's, and now they're dead.
Yeah.
Dead already.
That's kind of how it is. I mean, I don't know. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't understand what it's using all that power on. Like, the games don't look good. Like, they don't. I mean, this is a game that came out in, like, 03, 02, something like that for Tactics Advance, and Metal Gear Solid 2 came out around the same time. So it's not like it's comparable graphics. So, like, I don't understand where all the battery eating is coming from, but fucking whatever. Sure as hell doesn't come from the shittiness of the screen.
Well, technology just gets better as time goes along. So
yeah. All right, so we got one more here that I want to touch on. Did Kingsglaive spoil 15 for you? This person, the new Jefferson, says, for anyone who hasn't played 15, look away. All right, so we all know Kingsglaive is crap. I was so excited for this movie, but it was so boring, I fell asleep during my first watch of it.
What?
So I missed some things.
No.
I gave it a second watch for that reason. That being said, whenever anyone put the ring of Lucii on, the kings of old said that the wearer would die. Even Nyx, though they deemed him worthy of their power. I didn't really think anything about it until Noct got the ring in the game. As soon as that happened, I knew he was going to die, because in my mind, anyone who wore the ring would die.
Anyone who whores the ring.
That's right. So I feel like the ending was ruined for me. My question for you is this. Did Kingsglaive spoil the ending of Final Fantasy 15 in regards to Noctis having to die?
Go ahead and read the comments first, and then I'll try to remember if it actually did.
Abrax says, I don't think so. I mean, everyone dies eventually. It's not like Noct died immediately after putting it on. Rebus dies near the end of the game, and he puts the ring on way before Noctis. Black Mage Justin said, it kind of ruined Ardent for me. If he wasn't in the movie, yeah, sure, he would have still been mysterious, and I wouldn't have trusted him. But after the movie, we knew, if we watched the movie before playing the game, that the first time we meet Arden in-game at the Golden Key, that he was in cahoots with the Empire.
Yeah, that's true. He's a bad guy as soon as he shows up in 15. I guess in that way it did spoil it for me.
Yeah, Skull said people of royal blood can wear the ring, and that's why Regis wore it for years, and Noctis didn't have any issues. The standard treatment is instant get fucked up, except for Nyx.
Except for Nyx, because he's got a good soul, they'll give him a few hours.
Yeah, Regis talked him into letting him use the car for the night. I agree with Justin's point, and I'd also say the movie took away the death of Regis. I think Joe said that it made his sacrifice useless, which is true. So this moment of Regis dying was cheapened by not being in the game at all, and cheapened in the movie from being a useless sacrifice. That could have been worked differently as an amazing moment in game. Yeah, I think his death is more of a spoiler than anything for Final Fantasy 15, because when you start FF15, he's not dead yet. You're just kind of...
And then you find out in like 10 minutes. But
yeah, he's dead pretty quickly. But I mean, when you're doing all the side content, it takes a few hours where your dad's not dead, and then suddenly he's dead. So I don't know. I think that part is kind of shitty, and I agree. It kind of feels like a waste. I mean, they do get the ring.
That entire movie is a waste. It was a waste of money to make it. It was a waste of my time watching it for the third time 2 weeks ago. Everything about that movie is a waste.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, so I don't think it's spoiled 15 for me, especially because, like Skull said, the royal family can wear the ring, and they don't have problems with it.
Yeah, Noctis was not instantly destroyed, so the game just kind of went on.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, and it's because it's meant for them. It's the Lucian lion can wear the ring. The others can't, and that's why they die.
Then again, I wasn't listening to a Final Fantasy podcast that immediately spoiled it, right?
Yeah, there you go. And we did review Kingslave like immediately.
We did. We should have been at the end of that. We should have been so good to be like guess the entire game.
Yeah.
Like Noctis is gonna die. Arden's going to be the one to fool him. All that.
Yeah, I think we should have been on top of it.
We should have.
We didn't want to ruin it beforehand and then be accused of spoilers, even though we couldn't have known at that moment what exactly was going to happen.
I got an email asking the question that we've gotten like 16 million times, so I just emailed him back. But that reminds me, no, we're not going to replay 15 anytime soon, just to play the DLC. And once again, the caveat is not anytime soon. We may decide to do it. We may not. Don't bet on it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play the DLC.
You'll play it?
Because I already paid for it, so.
Oh. Well, then it might be sooner, but we don't have an official schedule when we're going to do that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have said that the game is like completely changed now. So going through playing the DLC when it comes up in the story, and like the story itself, it's been altered to the point where some are saying it's like almost kind of a different game. So
fucking fuck. I don't want.
They just can't leave it alone, man.
I liked the game.
It's like an itchy scab. They just have to keep scratching at it. They won't leave it be.
God damn it.
Which is kind of annoying, honestly. But I don't know. Now we live in an age where they can put out a half cooked game and then finish cooking it down the road, which is fucking stupid.
I think it was 3/4 cooked. I think it was more cooked than uncooked.
Yeah, the one half of the last quarter being the Adamantoise fight, that's still a piece of shit.
Is that thing still a piece of shit? They didn't fix it?
I don't think they changed it now.
What the fuck? If there was one thing to fix in that game, it wouldn't be story content. It wouldn't be the fact that the fucking guys don't talk to each other, even though they haven't seen Noctis in like 12 years, and they just kind of sit there, and then it's like, oh, I guess we're going to the end of the game. That's the biggest story problem in that thing, in my opinion. That would be the Adamantoise fight. That is a legitimate, needs to be fixed game element in 15.
That and the X button both need to be fixed immediately.
That's true. Do something like Fable 2. God. Or Fable 3. Actually, just had to play that for Nude Clan, and the select button you have to hold it down. You have to be sure of your decision, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you multiple choices if you're in a certain spot.
The game also doesn't have a jump option.
Why not have jump be circle or what was the one that wasn't used outside of battle? Was like triangle.
Yeah, one of them was. Yeah, I don't know. Should patch that.
God damn it! You're right. Totally patch that. Okay, Schweiss, are we ready to get to our awards show?
Yeah, let's. All right. So the nominees for the best new UFF song were Tick Tack Tick 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 Ticks, Season 3 intro, and Season 3 outro. The winner for the best new song, a surprising win, edging out Tack Tick Tick Ticks. The Season 3 intro was the winner for this year.
Let's hear it.
The nominees for the UFF podcast Best Rant are Rufus Shinra's Wheelchair, 4-syllable names, and the X button from Final Fantasy 15.
What's the winner, Schweiss?
The winner for the Best Rant of 2017 was by far the X button from Final Fantasy 15.
Nice.
I gladly accept this honor, and I still to this day hate that control setup for that specific command. And I'm surprised. As far as I know, it's still the same. It's ridiculous.
They're doing so many things in post for Final Fantasy 15, and yet that is still not to be fixed.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I've read anything saying that that's done. So
what we talked about on that episode that got you on that thing was that in one of the fishing markets, there's a dude there who has a hunt and is also part of the quest line that you're on. So depending on which way you look at him, the X button will pop up one thing or the other. And it might have even been a store. It was one of those situations where he had two functions in the game, and you had to like maneuver the pixels over when the game decided in its glitchy, shitty way what X button function it wanted to give you.
Yeah.
And of course, it was usually the store, unless you walked around to the other side of the counter. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad, and I got so fucking mad when I was playing the game at that point. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is like something that should never have been. It's so fucking bad in that moment, and yeah, I'm just stuck I'm stuck next to two different options of him, and I'm jumping because the options, not only is it hard to select which one you want, and like you have to like slightly move, but they just disappear sometimes. So like I won't move at all, it'll be there, and then it fucking isn't there. And so instead of selecting possibly the wrong one, he jumps. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Where's the immersion? Where's the Final Fantasy like reality and fantasy element to some asshole like jumping randomly trying to fucking select a quest and or a fucking shop? How about this? Put them in the same fucking option. You click X on the motherfucker, there's shop, and then quest. Two things listed for the same man. No problems.
With the selection screen.
Yeah, with the select screen, with a jump button that's not the fucking same as the select.
You'd think that the playtesters at Square would have brought this up.
Yeah, they would have been driven mad by it like I was, yeah.
And I don't think it's that... It can't be that complicated of a fix, right?
No, it can't, because you could remap most of your controls in most games.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's insane.
Yeah, so glad it won, because it deserves.
Congratulations, Schweiss.
Thank you.
All right, our next category is Best Guest. Now, we had like 5 Patreon episodes. Schweiss, without notifying me, decided not to put the poll up for Twitter on this category because he felt it was unfair. So we just had to pick the best guest.
Yeah.
And in our opinion, they were all great. Every single one of them.
Except for Craig. But
Oh, yeah. Except for Caleb Craig. Which, by the way, always surprises me because when you're on Skype and you're doing a Patreon invite episode, you never know what is going to be on the other end of that phone call. So, and yet we have had extremely good luck in that every single person has been fantastic.
yeah, it is kind of crazy. And it's really weird finally hearing what people that you've been talking to for years, like through text and shit, what they sound like. That's always kind of an interesting thing about the Patreon episodes, because a lot of the patrons are people that have been part of the community for, extended periods of time. I mean, the show's been going for almost 4 years now, and some of you guys have been there since day one, since we first started getting interaction from people, and it's just kind of interesting to hear what what everybody sounds like. So. And it is always a kind of a nerve-wracking moment because, we don't know how talkative you guys are going to be. We don't know how, on the ball you're going to be. We don't know how prepared you are with your rankings, stuff like that. So it's like, oh, shit. It's always, a little bit stressful, but it always ends up being some of the most fun episodes.
It has so far. We haven't had a full-on disaster yet.
Yeah. I suppose it is possible, though, yeah. Because we do have some that we owe, and we got to start...
Just some.
Got to start doing that. Yeah, just a few.
Just a few. Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Yeah, so we have decided, we are a little bit biased, and we did argue last night about this. So, there was some well, what about this guy? What about this guy? We decided we're going with Baindrum.
Yeah.
As best guest.
Part of the reason why I didn't want to do a Twitter poll for that is because Baindrum is also a podcaster, and he has, I think he has a decent audience at the very least. He has multiple shows, so I assume, doing pretty well. So I didn't want it to be like a popularity contest and Baindrum to just crush the vote because he has the clout to do so. But then we gave it to him anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But
well, I mean, it is kind of unfair because he does have a podcast, so he knows how to talk.
Yeah.
Right? And so sometimes you're just talking with a normal person, and then there's sometimes you're talking with a podcaster. And so when you ask a question, he goes for it.
Yeah.
And anyway, I really enjoyed my conversation with
I think
Baindrum.
the big thing that the reason why I picked him was because of the history that we've had and how rich it's been with the FF11 content that we plowed through.
Right.
That was like World War buddies. I think he mentioned that in the episode himself. And that's kind of how it feels. And I think that made the episode a very strong one to behold. So it was a lot of fun, though. But thank you to all of you guys who we did end up having on last year. It's always a delight to sit down and talk Final Fantasy with people that sometimes have very different opinions on the series than we do.
That's right.
Unfortunately, our opinions have kind of almost mirrored each other over the years, but it's except for the main series, I guess. Or our main series rankings are a bit different, but even then, it's not extreme.
Yeah.
So I
think
think,
it used to be 12 versus 13 for a while, and then I went over to the light.
Yeah, you played both of them, and you realized
played both of them in a row again, and I was like, oh no, 12 is better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Look. This is a history of people, of two guys going through the series, sometimes with some guests, continually contradicting themselves.
Yeah. It is kind of true,
For years.
It is kind of true because you said you listened to our review of Revenant Wings, and we were
and
positive.
It was a positive review. And all I think when I think back on that game is the pain.
I don't think I've ever considered it worse than Dirge of Cerberus, but it is.
No,
it
you
is
didn't even
down there.
back then. We were both like, yeah, Dirge is worse. But here's the thing: I guess Revenant Wings was okay. It was just the final boss was way too hard.
Yeah,
and that just stuck with me. And one of those cutscenes is disgusting.
Yeah, it's it makes you want to puke.
Yeah, it makes me want to puke and hide my screen. I remember that. But yeah, just over time you change. That's what happens. So that's the kind of viewpoint you get when you go from Ultima Final Fantasy Episode 1 all the way to episode 200 something that we're on
Yeah,
right now.
whatever this one happens.
Whatever
to be.
this one is, because we don't number these ones, and I have now regretted that for a while that we don't number these episodes. So we just have to go, I think this is number 200.
Yeah. Well, the nice part is that it's usually going to be around like May when it's the 100 mark or the 150 mark or the
Yeah, it'll be a little past that, actually. It'll go back every year.
Yeah. It'll just get closer and closer.
Yeah, our 5-year anniversary will be next May. This May will be our 4th year of Ultima Final Fantasy. 4th full year. Do you want to kill yourself yet?
I want to beat some Final Fantasy games.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
get these fucking games done. All right. Speaking of not getting games done, let's talk about the worst episodes of Ultima Final Fantasy. What do we got over there, Schweiss?
All right, so the 2 nominees for the worst episode of UFF, we have Advent Children Revisited and What's Wrong with the Final Fantasy Movies. And the winner, by a staggering margin, was Advent Children Revisited. I think this one kind of sucks, and it's kind of unfair because your mic went out, and so like it was just me.
This is one of those situations where we need to get headphones back for everyone.
Yeah, so we can hear when
So
shit
we can
happens.
hear when shit happens in the mix.
Yeah.
We have one pair of headphones that has survived the brutality that is not only headphones being here, but then me moving headphone slots around a lot. I'm not sure who's broken more headphones, me or you,
I don't know.
in this house.
I don't think I've broken any for the show. No, never mind. I broke the ones of yours. It wasn't really me, but I guess I am the responsible party for ripping the breaking
my
the
headphone
ear.
wasn't in half when I came back.
Hey, that half worked. All right, the other half was the one that was. that
Oh,
had
you're
problems.
right. You're right. We should.
It's like a fucking ham radio, you
it's
know,
like
like in the. You're just like you're like twisting it and like
while
hello,
you're getting
hello.
shot at in Vietnam.
Yeah.
yeah. No, the other thing I'm looking at is like it's like an ear monocle.
Yeah,
Where like every
You just
time you
hang
want to
on.
hear, you just hang on to it.
yeah.
So I guess no, I think we actually chucked that thing, right?
Yeah, we finally did.
Okay,
It
finally
stayed
did.
for a while
It did stay for a while.
because it worked. I mean, fuck, why not?
Yeah. We used to have 4 headphones.
Well, one of them was Cameron's, though. We never had four. No, we did. Never mind. We had the black and the blue of those ones.
Yeah, what
And we
happened
had
to those?
your mix ones that you broke because you fucking stuffed them through the hole.
Yeah, I stuffed them through the hole. They had an L shape dealio, and it wouldn't go through the hole that's in our table. That
Yeah,
all
you
the
forced
cords
it
go
and then
through.
it shorted it. Yeah.
Forced it, and it shorted it, so I had to chuck those. And
And then the black ones that I broke in half. So that's all 4.
Wow.
One of them's been dead for a long time though. Because wait, no, maybe not. Because I know Cameron was using little earbuds for a while. Oh shit. So that might be. Oh, maybe another pair were killed.
We have so much shit for him, though. We got these extenders. Like, come on, bring your headphones. Have them broken
Yeah,
by someone here.
yeah,
So I don't think that episode was bad. It just wasn't recorded.
yeah. The actual discussion that we had was decent. I felt because Advent Children
Advent Children, yeah, we talked. It was easier to do a commentary over Advent Children than the other 2.
because a lot more is going on. And honestly,
And I was like, yeah, that one's the good one. Put that one away. Send that out. Everyone's going to love that episode. Nope.
yeah. It's just an unfortunate turn of events for that one. And I totally understand why it's the worst one because you can't fucking hear it once the entire time.
I'm afraid to listen to it. All I've heard is people talk about it. I'm afraid to go in there and hear what you... I don't know. I was probably monologuing a lot, which I do, and then you just like responding. That's what I don't want to. I don't want to hear just you responding.
Yeah.
Just going, yeah, yeah.
Well, see, and I think the thing is like we were enjoying that movie a little bit more than the other ones, surprisingly, right? Because of how much shit we give it. And I do think it is the most abusive one story-wise for the game it's based off of, but I think it is probably better than the others. Like Spirits Within, I think is overall more solid, but Spirits Within isn't necessarily enjoyable to watch. basically at all.
I still think Spirits Within is a better movie. But I've seen Advent Children so many times that it's easier to do a commentary over. And I can make fun of it at the same time. Spirits Within is less easy to make fun of.
Yeah, I think one has more entertainment value though, and I think that one would be Advent Children. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's better. I don't think it is, but but action,
the action is better.
Yeah, it's much better.
The action is better. The story is not.
No.
And the voice acting is not.
Yeah, probably not. No.
The music might be better in Advent Children. At least it's more memorable.
Yeah, I would agree. But I mean, it's also music that we have known for years. So
That's true.
It's kind of hard to compare.
So biased.
The two. Yeah.
So biased.
Yeah.
But that's the same argument. Dude, okay, all right. So my friend William, who we did something that no one's heard yet, I forgot about, the 10 Elements of Podcasting dealio that we did a couple months ago, Schweiss, where my friend William, who is on a podcast called the Sci-Fi Podcast, and he also just released a Movie Moments podcast, if you guys want to go check that out. He, in the Sci-Fi Podcast, was talking about Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie, which you and I had... I liked it better than you did, but now as the further away I'm getting from Last Jedi, the more I'm kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, that's what I said. The day of, you're like, oh yeah. You're like fooled into this false sense of security. Like, that was good. And then like when you get away from the theater and
Yeah, William's like 10 years older than us. So he was talking about the younger generation of people who grew up on the newer Star Wars movies at the time. Those were the prequels. And that they might like the movies because they grew up with them. And maybe we're all just seeing Star Wars, the original trilogy, in hindsight because we grew up with those. And maybe they're also terrible movies too. And I was just thinking, I don't know a single goddamn person my age who honestly thinks that Phantom Menace is a good movie.
Yeah.
So no... The original Star Wars movies are good movies, and thus will be at least somewhat enjoyed by most people, even if they didn't grow up with Star Wars. And the prequel trilogy, they are bad movies and will likely not be enjoyed by most people, regardless of whether or not you grew up with them.
Yeah.
Now, there is a familiarity that comes with Phantom Menace, because I did see it in the theater when I was a kid.
So did I, yeah.
And I did... that movie was honestly easier to get a hold of than the original trilogy. So, honestly, I think I saw that one more than the original trilogy when I was a child. And I would say I did like it as a child.
Yeah, same.
But then again, I was a child, and thus an idiot. So, I was... wrong. And when I grew up, there was a point when Phantom Menace became a not so good movie.
Yeah. I remember renting it from the Springville Library and like being like, yeah, I love this thing when it came out. And then I watched it and I was like, that was pretty boring until like the end. It was not fun.
So I'm not sure about the idea that like we've seen Advent Children before and thus it's more entertaining.
Well, I think it's more entertaining because it's just action-y. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not bogged down action like Kingsglaive, where it's a 2-hour piece of shit. It's only an hour and a half piece of shit.
Okay.
We have 90 minutes versus 120.
There is a 2-hour version.
There is.
We did not
is
watch.
Awful.
It is horrible.
It is well worse than most things that I've ever experienced.
Not worse than Phantom Menace.
Probably
see,
not.
now you're squinting your eyes.
I don't know.
What's the worst movie? Advent Children Complete or Phantom Menace?
I would say Advent Children Complete, actually, because there's no Duel of the Fates.
It's just the soundtrack beats it out.
Yeah,
Duel of the Fates. Yeah, have you listened to the soundtrack for Phantom Menace? Because I borrowed it from the library. I borrowed a soundtrack from the library, believe it or not, thinking that it was going to be a great soundtrack. Because, like, it's John Williams. It's a great soundtrack. There's a few great pieces in it, but because the movie's fucking boring and nothing's happening, guess what the soundtrack is also?
Yeah.
Fucking boring.
Because he's a good composer.
Yeah. It's like, what have I been given?
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to work with. Yeah, and you're supposed to, make it fit.
Yeah. I love all the other Star Wars soundtracks. All of them, except Phantom Menace. Except for the regular Star Wars music that shows up, and, of course, Duel of the Fates, which is honestly, like, the best piece in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of underwhelmed by the last few movies, because it's just kind of, like, rehashed versions of the shit that he did before, for the most part. Like,
his
nothing
music
stands out. Yeah.
Oh, I disagree. I bought the Force Awakens soundtrack, and there's like the themes of the new characters are in there. So I hear the themes when I was like watching Last Jedi. I hear Rey's theme and I hear Kylo Ren's theme, and so they are kind of like they've sunk into me. But I've listened to the soundtrack separately, so that might be something different.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, I think there's some good stuff in there. I think you should revisit the soundtracks of the newer movies.
All right.
But God, Last Jedi. Also, anybody who likes Phantom Menace that's my age can go fucking die.
Skull in the chat said something pretty funny. He's like, it's weird that a series is so famous when half of the movies are bad, and I kind of agree. It is weird.
It's half right now.
Yeah. So, like, why is it so beloved? I don't know. It's because it's Final Fantasy.
It's because they're so good. The good ones. I don't know.
And you just trick yourself into thinking that maybe it's back to that. But when you give it a few weeks, you know the truth.
And it's important to our culture. I listened to Joseph Campbell. There was like a little documentary he was in talking about Star Wars, and it's like it's the new myth for the modern era, because it's about spirituality and what's real in a human sense versus the machine. And so that dichotomy that's now playing out in real life, just like everybody's staring at their phones, they're stuck on the machine, they're stuck in the Matrix or whatever, right? But then there's like the human side of it that you need to put the phone away, you need to put the computers away and become a person, which is the Force, right? That is really important. That's in a subconscious level. That's like a really important aspect of modern civilization. So Star Wars, coming out at the time that it did, and being as big as it is now like the new monomyth for modern society. So I don't know. I think that's cool stuff. Let's get back to our Final Fantasy show.
Yeah. So
what's our next category? Is it best episode?
Yeah, best episode of Ultima Final Fantasy. The nominees are as follows. We have Final Fantasy 15, nice. Final Fantasy Tactics, Kupokan, an FF convention, and The Hunt for a Game Boy SP. This one was a little more even-handed than the last few have been, but the best episode of 2017 of our show, according to the poll, is Final Fantasy 15's review.
Nice. Maybe it's because it was 12 hours long.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was a long fucking day for recording. It was insane.
The longer the review, the better?
Yeah, although Tactics was
pretty long as well.
It was a two-parter. I mean, it wasn't a three-part with two of them being 2.5 hours, but...
Well, I feel like with Tactics, all three sides of a Tactics argument were put forward. Craig blows the game. I liked it, and I like Final Fantasy, but to me, I'm like, I'm not going to replay this thing. And then you were somewhere in the middle. So I feel like there was a good roundness to that episode. 15, I think, was almost the same way.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more in depth because it was a new game, so it was exciting in that way that maybe we wouldn't be able to recreate when we're playing these old games. I loved 15 as it was back then, without any DLC content filling in any gaps. I loved the game, and you liked the game, and you were kind of mediocre towards it.
Yeah.
At least that's what I got when I re-listened to the episodes recently.
It is the middle of the road.
It's middle of the road for you.
Yeah.
I think it's upper quarter, upper third. Personally, I think it's the ending is a lot of that. I think the game is fantastic, but that's the best episode of UFF for 2017, and I thought it would be, frankly, because it's like I don't think anybody else went through the game this detailed in any podcast out there.
Yeah, I thought it would either be that one or Tactics, just because we got pretty heated in there, and it's always good.
So
to
the
have.
more that we argued, the better.
Yeah, that's usually makes good.
That'll be good for our friendships too.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah. It works out. It works out. In
That'll
every way.
ensure that the shows keep going forward.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. That's good. It's healthy talk.
Oh yeah, healthy
It's a podcast room talk. is what it
healthy
is.
verbal abuse.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay. Our next category, second to last category here, is best non-UFF show.
Yeah, we've already accepted that we are the best. But there is the best of the rest, and this is what this 4 category.
Did we accept that we're the best?
Yeah, of course. I don't
If
think
we were the best, we would be willing to put our own names out there, right?
Well, there's no reason to make this a blowout. I mean, that's just rude, right? So the nominees for best non-UFF show of 2017 were Mog Talk, Dark Pixel Gaming, Final Fantasy Peasant, and Limit Break Radio. And once again, as it seems every year,
No.
maybe
that's
not every
true.
year. No, last year they didn't win, huh?
No.
They won the first time, but not
No,
this time.
yeah.
Again, 2-time champion Limit Break Radio takes the prize for best non-UFF show. Now, could it be because they have a huge following? Maybe, but I mean, FF Peasant has a pretty big.
They have a huge
too.
following. See it on Twitter, and
And they cared. Yeah, they retweeted it.
they
So.
vote a lot. Okay.
All of them good shows in their own respects. I don't really listen to Limit
Actually,
Break.
I've never
as much
listened
now.
to Dark Pixel or Mog Talk. Those were brought up by listeners.
I haven't. I guess I haven't listened to Dark Pixel, but I have heard Mog Talk. All good shows, except for the one I don't know, obviously, but I'm sure they're fine. But I don't know. The one I probably listened to the most was probably Peasant, but that's just like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
I
I listen to Limit Break a lot when we're playing 14,
Yeah,
because then I'm like, I know what's going on.
yeah.
And then when we're not playing 14, it's like, oh yeah, Limit Break's the place to go. if you
There's
wanna
plenty
listen to
of
14.
there's plenty of content.
And they're a really good show. They're really professionally done. And so,
Yeah, they've got like sound padded rooms, and it's all perfect. It's great.
It's great.
So it's good to fill your ear holes with.
So congratulations, Limit Break Radio. If you want to learn more about that, there's a big, huge interview with Aniro earlier on in our feed. If you want to check that out, and Aniro is the main guy behind Limit Break Radio. Twice our most important category, our biggest category, basically our best picture category, the best 2017 Final Fantasy release.
Yeah, so this one I kind of fucked up. We had it separated into 2 different things, right? So we had 6 nominations. It was King's Knight, A New Empire, Final Fantasy 15, Stormblood, the FF15 DLC content, Type 0 Online, and Monster of the Deep. I had them in 2 different polls, and I was supposed to take the winner of those polls and pit them against each other. But I had decided this day. I've decided to just say that Stormblood was the best release. And there are a few reasons why. One, Stormblood was pretty solid, I feel. I feel like it was possibly the best expansion. I think we put it as the best expansion that 14 has had. And it makes it kind of feel almost like an 11 expansion where it's actually good instead of just like the same shit over and over again. Except for treasures, of course. But
It's a good one.
the 15 DLC, like I want to play it, but I don't really want to play it that much. When I saw Stormblood, I wanted to play Stormblood. When I saw Heaven's Word for 14, I wanted to play Heaven's Word. I don't really want to. I mean, I want to play the DLC
The 15
stuff.
DLC was the second place winner.
It was the second place winner. I mean, it was against Type 0 Online and Monster of the fucking Deep, which like 6 people have played. So it's hard to say it was a fair fight necessarily, but I do think that Stormblood is the one that gets me more excited about.
It gets you going, doesn't it?
Gets me going, yeah. It gets the blood flowing, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah.
I do know what you mean.
and I don't know. I think I dug it.
So, congratulations, Stormblood, in a lackluster year of Final Fantasy.
Pretty bad for
You
a
come
30th
out on top.
anniversary. Yeah, and the sad part is I know I've mentioned this before, but the episode Ignis, I think it's the theme song. For some reason, it started auto playing on my computer, and I was like, "What is this shit?" And like, I come over and I'm like, "Oh fuck, it's the theme song." So both of them have theme songs that I don't care for, but Stormblood's is the less bad one of those two. But I could be it could be just a song that's attached to episode Ignis, but dude, it was.
So you're judging the entire DLC based on
I'm judging.
episode
I'm
Ignis?
judging the 2-hour DLC on the 4-minute theme song, which is a considerable chunk of that 2
Oh,
hours.
that's a good point. See, there you go. You just won me over.
Yeah, that is 7.5% of the fucking game is the theme song, and I don't like it.
Oh my god,
So there,
dude.
it is kind of sad that we have the 30th anniversary, but I mean, shit, we only 6 games, only 6 new games, and what, 2 of them are mobile, 1 is an online thing for Type 0, 1's a fucking VR fishing game, and then 1 of them is just a group of DLC content, like 3 DLCs. I guess now 4. 4 counting the companions thing or whatever the fuck it is. Comrades.
The commandants. The I don't know. It starts with a C.
And then, of course, the big Stormblood. I would say that's a big release, but I think a lot of it is because of what you said earlier. I mean, the end of last year had Final Fantasy 15. I mean, you have to give your flagship main series time to breathe.
So what have we had so far? I believe we had Curtain Call won the first year.
Yeah, Curtain Call did.
And then we had... Oh, shit. What was the next year?
I have no fucking clue.
Was it World of Final Fantasy, maybe? Or a Gito? I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Well, Final Fantasy 15 was last year's. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I remember, Lightning Returns didn't win the first year we did these awards.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? What is this Curtain Call? It's like,
I'm still
Lightning
surprised,
Returns
but-
is so unpopular that Curtain Call wins. It's just odd. One of them is actually like a single-player RPG dealing with parts of the series, and the other one is
Yeah, but it is the 13
like
trilogy.
Rock Band Final Fantasy. It's,
Rock Band wins.
I guess.
Rock Band wins. Yeah, kind of a sad year, and honestly, I'm looking at our 2017 Final Fantasy games that we played and reviewed for the show last year. And I mean, we have 15. We've got 13-2, Lightning Returns, Heaven's Word, The Dragon Song Wars, Stormblood, King's Tale, Tactics, and Monster of the Deep. 9 is kind of, I don't know, 9 kind of feels low to me. I mean, especially for shooting for 17 this year.
A lot of that was
Stormblood.
A lot of that was 14 content, which to me is all just one chunk. I know we did multiple reviews in there.
I think I platinumed 13-2 in like February or March. So like that is a lot of fucking 14. That is months of 14 and just these tiny little 4, 5, and 6 lines of
I think
game.
I delayed FF Tactics 4 weeks though.
Oh, did we delay it that much?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh shit! No, I'm remembering now. Yeah, the pain.
The pain of working for FedEx. That's what I'm blaming.
I think it was the pain of you getting your
that on.
ass kicked.
And also that. So not only working for FedEx, getting my ass kicked there in a physical way. I bump my head on the back of the truck about once a day. Maybe that's why I'm getting migraines all the time. And
yeah, maybe.
And then I'm tripping with these big fucking chewy boxes of fucking hell. And then people are assholes, and they're like, oh, can I talk to you for 20 minutes while you're at my doorstep, and make you take forever getting home? And then my commute is fucking an hour long either way, so it just adds to the day. So my fucking work day was at least 12 hours long, especially when starting out. And I had a lull in there where everything seemed to be going okay. I would have a couple really bad days a week, but then the other days were fine, and then Christmas came. So, look, tactics was just difficult during the FedEx time. It's no longer. Look, I promise you.
Tactics is easy now.
It will be done. The games will be done on time this year for at least the most part. My goal is 17 of these damn things. So we'll stick to it as long as Schweiss his life isn't ruined by it.
Yeah. I mean, the sad part though is that we also have Monster of the Deep, which is 3 hours, and then we have King's Tale, which is like 2 hours.
Yeah, those were nice little breaks.
Yeah,
I needed those.
It kind of, I don't know. I'm excited to see, and I've got it pulled up here, what we have
got our
planned.
list?
Yeah,
Okay.
for the rest of the year, basically.
We decided also to do just a little switcheroo. So instead of going through the entirety of the mana games, we'll just play the Final Fantasy mana game. And then we'll push the mana games further on down the list.
Yeah, so right now we've got Tactics Advance, Advance 2, Vagrant Story for the next 3, Type 0. Then we have the Crystal Chronicles season, which is Ring of Fates, Echoes of Time, Crystal Chronicles, My Life as a King, My Life as a Dark Lord, and Crystal Bearers.
10.
Then we had the Mana series, so we'll do Adventure, and then we'll leave those for a little while. Then we had Dissidia, Dudekheim.
And then we'll have Dissidia NT as well, which was not on the list.
And then we'll have Theater Rhythms, Curtain Call, which I think has both of the games in it. And then Mystic Quest.
Mystic Quest,
Four
Four Heroes of
Heroes.
Light, Final Fantasy Explorers, and World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, what are we up to there?
19 games.
And then the rest is Kingdom Hearts and games that were kind of meant to be Final Fantasies at some point
And the
in
Mana series
conception.
as well.
And Mana. yeah.
So there's so yeah, we're going to try to finish most of the 19 FF games this year. And by our 5th anniversary, have all those done. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going to try to get 17 of those done this year. Try to get a game done once every 3 weeks on average. Now, we're already 2 weeks behind. So, but I know some of these games are going to be short. Like, I can't believe that Curtain Call could be a 25-hour RPG.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, we've
And
got that.
then I'm going to get an email going, guys, have you looked on How Long to Beat for Curtain Call? Because it's sick.
Yeah, that would be
God
sad.
damn it, just kill me. Just kill me.
We got that, and then, I mean, I can't imagine Advance 2 is going to be that long, but I mean, I might be just...
I'm sure it's long. I'm just expecting the next 2 games to be really long and Vagrant Story to be about 20 hours. That's what I think they're at. I mean, I'm just hoping they're at. But I know where to find the answer. But I just kind of want to leave it up to the week by week of me being pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great resource, that How Long to Beat. I encourage everyone to pop their times in there. The more we have, the better.
Log your times.
The better average, so that podcasters like us can know what they're getting into when they get into it. So,
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it. Oh, wait. No, we got iTunes reviews, don't we?
yeah,
Got a
we
crap load of them. So
We do have some
Might
of
as
them.
well get into that.
Let us knock it out.
iTunes reviews. iTunes reviews.
Yeah, we have like 5 or 6 new reviews.
Well, I
That's
mean,
nice.
someone's going to win a Gameboy Advance. So
That is true at some point.
So
So,
if you want a chance to win it, by the way, going to be taking iTunes reviews until our Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced episode. So get up on that.
are you going to give them the game too?
Yeah, I'll give them the game and probably the other 2 games I got.
Okay, cool. So the first one we have after our painful spoiler 15 is All Natural by Dominus Niere. I love video games and RPGs, but haven't once found a gaming podcast where the hosts weren't either A, utterly disingenuous, or B, obnoxious to the extent of a much-needed violent homicidal act. I'm honestly through my second listening journey of the podcast.
Jesus Christ.
You
no!
guys are great. From the histories
No, just one time through so you can forget all the bad.
of Square Enix to the review segments. Hope you guys continue on. Oh, we will and are.
We have no choice.
Yeah. So,
Well, we do have choices, but
thank you for your 5-star review, Dominus.
there's some inner thing stopping me from going, fuck it!
Yeah, just the completion of it all.
Well, a lot of it is like, I already put in almost 4 years into this goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I better finish this fucking series.
That would be sad if we didn't finish. That would suck. So we have another one titled Good Job by Exodus on December 11th. Love the way you guys bring humor to my favorite series of games. This is the only podcast group, besides Duckfeed, that I subscribe to multiple shows just to hear the personalities.
Oh,
Keep it up,
nice.
guys.
Does that mean he subscribes to Nude Clan?
I would hope so.
Okay.
Probably Godzilla.
You probably should, if you're listening at home, subscribe to Nude Clan as well, because it's awesome.
It is.
And we're going to review Fable 3 today.
Oh, shit, you're right. Oh, man, I'm excited to talk about that.
Yes.
We have another one from Tifa Cosplayer on December 18th, Lighting My FF Fire.
It should be Lightning My
Yeah.
FF Fire. Tifa Cosplayer, I'm assuming, is a woman.
Less than 3.
Less than 3?
That's the heart. The less than symbol.
Oh,
3.
it's like, did we get less than 3 stars on this one?
Yeah.
That's a big paragraph for being a bad review. Usually people who want to give us a bad review are like, 3
Joe's
words.
a bottom.
Fuck you.
This one's UFF
Joe sucks dick.
1 star.
Twice as racist. They're like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So technically, you could pull that conclusion. UFF represents the perfect union of Final Fantasy
Whoa,
fandom
you don't say that word.
and artistic criticism, all done with a great sense of humor. The hosts are longtime friends who committed themselves to playing through all of the FF games. Honestly, we didn't really hang out until we did the show. If we're gonna be,
We did hang out.
it was like a year
fucking
before
liar.
that. It was like a year.
We did laundry at your house all the time.
Plaguing me isn't hanging out.
And then your girlfriend at the time was always... We would talk, but I can't hear what she says half the time because of the way she speaks and the fact that I'm deaf. So I remember that being like an issue. I would try to make small talk with your ex-girlfriend. And it would just...
It was strange.
She's real tough. She's real tough to talk
She's a
to.
tough bitch. That is true.
I'm glad I can say that now openly.
No, it is true. She's a difficult person to talk to. Especially after the fact. It's very difficult to be civil and kind. So, anyway, the hosts are longtime friends who committed themselves to playing through all of the FF games sequentially to view the evolution of the FF series. They deserve unique credit for being the first review show to attempt to understand how the FF series grew game to game, step by step, as well as considering the history of the company, artists, artistic directors, musicians, etc., that together compose the majesty that is Final Fantasy. Finding FF fans with a podcast is certainly nothing new, and even ones that are almost as funny as this one can be found.
What?
However, what
Limit
sets
Break's
this,
pretty funny, actually.
what sets this show apart is the dedication to fair criticism. Anyone can be an extreme fan, and these guys certainly are huge FF fans. They nonetheless are able to step back from their FF love to try to judge the works fairly. This more mature criticism allows one greater insight into the FF series, to see the rises and falls within each FF game, and thus best to be able to understand the FF adventure. Truly, this show has rekindled my FF love, made me want to relive the entire series, and reach out to the Final Fantasy community.
Sweet.
That's a good review right
It
there.
was a very good review. Oh, yeah, I was about to say, there's another podcast doing what we've done.
Motherfucker.
They just came out with one. I know you guys are going to look this up, but they're like doing it piece by piece. So they've done like 4 episodes on FF1. As
What?
they
How?
get to a certain point in FF1, they'll do a review. And I think they're having a much better launch than we did.
Well, yeah, that's not hard.
It's not hard to do, to be honest, but I think that they're from another big gaming podcast or YouTube channel or something.
Oh,
From the
okay.
description I was reading. and they're going through the series as well. And I'm not going to be enemies to these people. They're not like FF Union where they didn't answer my goddamn email. They're like they're just another person. They're another people who have decided to take on this series very slowly. And I will say to those people, have fun. It's going to take you fucking years. Years!
Yeah, especially if you're doing FF1 in like multiple parts.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Even now, that's crazy. Like, it would be a one-parter even today with all the shit that we use to bog the show down. Like with the questions and the reviews, it would still be a one-part episode. Maybe an hour and a half at most.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think if we asked everybody to give their review of FF1, I think it would still only take an hour and a half. Because we'd still have the 40 minutes of us talking about the game.
Classic.
And then the rest.
It's a classic. It set up the series. It's a classic. Classic.
Yeah, classic.
I know it ripped out Dragon Quest, but classic.
Yeah.
I just wrapped up all those reviews for you.
There you go. Yeah, see, it wouldn't even be an hour.
And then I can go, it sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. So we have one here. It's from Electric Nightmare. These guys are cool as heck. Excellent and honest podcast full of crucial information and many laughings of outward loudness. Very fun. Been listening to UFF for a few months now.
What?
Many laughings of outward loudness.
Many laughings of outward loudness.
Yeah. I've been listening to UFF for a few months now, trying to play catch up, and still enjoying just about every last show I've listened to.
Until I got to the Advent Children Revisited episode, and I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, Super Sexy Swingin' fan fiction was weird, but still redeems if you have a sense of humor. Thanks, guys, from Trenton, New Jersey. Oh, we were so close.
Oh, thanks for reminding me that exists on the internet with my name on it. Thank you. My biggest regret in life may be Super Sexy Swingin' fanfiction.
Really?
It may be. All I need is for a child that I have spawned one day, if anybody will ever have sex with me.
Yeah, this is a fantasy here. Keep going.
I have to get laid again, which that's step number one, which is a long step away, it seems.
It's got a long stride. It's a tall step.
Yes. Thank you. Part of it is probably me playing all these goddamn fucking games, but, you know.
Maybe.
So that has to happen first. But let's imagine that a future little Joe goes out there and maybe wants to learn a little bit more about his father and maybe does a Google search and maybe finds some semi-pornographic comedy material that may scar those who listen to it.
See, the
that
problem,
adults can't even listen to. It's too much.
The problem, in my mind, is the fact that they, at this point, don't already know about it. I think it should be something they know immediately.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like once they first are able to comprehend it, 9 or 10-ish, be like, here, sit you down, like, here's some Super Sexy. Like, I know you've had these feelings, these weird thoughts. You're changing, so here you go.
Oh.
Boom!
That's how you make some, like, freak masturbator.
Well, look, man, somebody's got to break the world record.
I shit on my hands and then I masturbate with it.
God. Oh, yeah, I don't want that.
That's the little creature that you'll make by exposing him to that crap. Are you kidding me? It's the little freak. I can't get off on anything because I've just been exposed to too much stuff. Now I have to go deep into the depths of hell in order to have any sort of sexual pleasure. Yeah. That's the creature that you make, Schweiss. You can't be exposing people to super sexy.
All right, I'll wait till they're like 12.
Oh, by then.
And then he'll let them have the podcast. Just tell them that you did it, and then they find it naturally.
We've been playing around with the idea of a paywall, and I'm thinking those super sexies go. Then if you really want to listen to it, you can.
I'm just excited to know that the show eventually will. I mean, I guess now it's being hosted by people that weren't even the original hosts, and I want it to be like so
super
far,
sexy swinging fanfiction.
Yeah, I want it to be so far gone that it's being hosted by people that we don't even actually know. Like it's just like this fucking
but
thing.
Yeah, we're still paying for.
Yeah, that we still pay for. This thing that's just being like shoveled passed along, just like all these random fucking people. They have access to our shit, so they sign
$15
in.
a month.
They sign into our Libsyn and fucking upload their shit, and we don't even know them. We don't even know their names. Like, no one wants to be known there.
God.
They're just anonymous.
All right.
So we have one more review for this week. Best Metallica / Dave Mustaine podcast that also talks about Final Fantasy from Enrique Payne. Joking aside, I started listening to these guys when they interviewed a different podcast host in 2015 and have since then gone back and listened to every episode. Their review episodes cover the key points of that game from development to story and how it compares to other FF titles in the form of rankings. Their non-review episodes are also entertaining, choosing a topic to discuss while going on humorous rants ranging from work, crude jokes, to impersonating Dave Mustaine. These guys are fun to listen to, and were long overdue a review from me. Highly recommend these guys to anyone that wants good, balanced reviews from a show that doesn't take itself too seriously.
What about shows that... What shows... Oh, wait. I do know one that takes itself too seriously, but I'm thinking...
Yeah, but the sad part is they're the biggest joke of all.
Okay. I'm thinking that if you're doing a podcast, which is honestly, I would say about 3/4 of the good big podcasts out there are comedy podcasts. If you're doing a podcast, aren't you already assuming that there's going to be some humor involved? You know?
You would hope so, yeah. I mean, obviously you have like big stuff like Dan Carlin. I don't really know that he does humor. I mean, he does sometimes.
No, yeah,
stuff
there's a
that's
little
funny,
bit of humor.
but it's not. It's usually like factual.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, if you're going to do a podcast, like, you know, like everybody has a podcast, you know.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah,
That's my
you can't.
Dan Carlin impersonation.
You can't go too crazy with it. Yeah, you gotta have fun.
Squall in a mercenary school. God, I can't even think of what a serious Final Fantasy show would be,
Yeah,
except a really boring one.
yeah, that is true. It would be very boring, and it would. Some would say it would cause you such grief that you would disband and make your own.
Sometimes,
You would cross the
you would think
sea
that there would
and-
be because of the boring Final Fantasy podcast, there would be more podcasts made
Yeah, exactly. So, like in a way,
that were hopefully 90% less boring.
yeah, at least 90% less boring. I would hope to God.
Please.
But yeah, and so it's like a weird Batman Joker scenario where it's like the crappy ones sort of like cause the heroes to come out, you know, come out of the woodwork and like do what wasn't done before with the running through the entire series. It's kind of how it is.
Okay, well,
I have a new plot for the movie or the radio
movie
drama that we have to make.
That we have to write somehow.
I have a new idea. I love the noir film idea that I came up with,
Okay,
but I think that one would probably get us sued, and I think the new one I have will definitely not get us sued.
we can't get sued for a parody.
And it's it was going to be fucking bad. It was going to be bad, but the new one is like a play on the American Revolution, where we are America and we're getting fucking tired of Britain's bullshit. And like everyone that's involved with it are going to be like characters. Like one of us has to be Ben Franklin, one of us has to be George Washington. Like we got to have like fucking listeners and people that we know, like running through the street, like the Union are coming, shit like that. Like I've got it. It's going to be sweet. But
Oh,
the old Paul Revere.
that's a lot more extensive of an idea than the one I've had for a long time.
Yeah, it is more extensive, but I think it's perfect, especially with how the show came to be and like the name of the show and like how we just try to not be. And like it's just one of them's Britain, one of them's from UK, one of them's from America. It's just too good. It's like a golden opportunity.
Okay,
But we could talk about it.
we'll talk
off
about
the
it
air and
off
see
air.
what we got.
I wouldn't want to promise anything in case we decide to change our minds.
That is true.
Yeah. So, okay, all right. Let's get the hell out of here, guys. Go check out Nude Clan. Go check out the Godzilla podcast. Go check out Caleb Craig's show, Puff Puff Hour, which is about Dragon Quest. So there's a lot of overlap there. I'm sure they talk about Final Fantasy a lot. My friend's podcast, Movie Moments podcast. Go check that out. And, well, shit. My Twitter is at Joseph Vigolier.
Mine is at UFF Podcast.
And we'll see you next week.
Enjoy the awards grind.